Elio guys, and welcome back to another episode of Infinite Magicraid. So in today's video we're going to talk about Carrie, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it here. I unfortunately don't have a Carrie, even though I'm reviewing her. I'm hoping that somehow with my review I will manifest her to appear into my account, but I have no control over that. But anyways, we have Carrie here. She also has a light mark, meaning that she's a light unit, and she's also an attacker here. And with her base stats, everything is pretty much nice and normal here. There's nothing too extravagant. Her speed is quite normal. Her attack is pretty decent, and of course her defense is okay as well as sitting at 40k base HP. But let's take a look at her skills. So for her basic attack, which is Magic Missile, this deals 220% attack damage to a single enemy with a 30% chance to reduce their speed by 20%. I'm not sure why the devs give them a 30% chance for a skill like this, because that literally means nothing. If you talk about the unit resisting this and this going through that resistance check, 9 times out of 10 it's not going to work. So it's to me it's almost pointless having something this low here. But the main selling point of the skill though is just its raw damage. 220% attack damage is already just smiley face gaming right there. And with this fully bucked up, it goes to 300% attack damage. So think of the speed reduction as kind of like the sprinkles on your ice cream, while the main selling point of this is just to do a whole bunch of raw damage. The second skill, Shadow of Fear. This has a 4-turn cooldown, and it deals 320% of attack damage to a single enemy, and also inflicts Horrify for 1 round. Horrify, as I stated before in my Mr. N video, Nishakma video, or Nisakma, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but Horrify, there's a 50% chance of a unit to just not act at all. So on the turn that Horrify sticks, they could try and pop their ultimate off, and sometimes Horrify is just like, nah bruh, you just wasted your turn. So this could be very useful not only in a PvE situation but also PvP. And we can see here with skill books that this does get boosted up to, what is that, 360, 440% attack damage if my math is correct, if everything checks out here. That is pretty chunky, especially as a single target move, and it gets reduced to 3 skills, and it gets reduced to 3 turns. Okay, that is a great skill. And I like that it says it just inflicts Horrify. There's no percentage. It's like you're gonna get Horrify up there. That is hella good. And then there's also Cheeky Carrie, which is her passive skill, in which she does 270% of her attack damage to the killer. So whatever unit that kills her, has to eat this damage. And if the killer's HP is below 20%, she slashes them and leaves Demon Shadow. Then Carrie also revives with 30% of her max HP after 3 rounds. So what's interesting about Carrie is 3 rounds is a lot, but in theory, if you can have a unit like maybe Reliant or just another defender type unit, even if we have Christian or Wim, she could potentially come back after 3 rounds when you have to fight her again. Now if there's a healer somehow involved, they could potentially top her off too, and I believe this repeats until everyone on the field is just dead. So this could be very interesting paired up with the right units here. And we can see here with books as well that this gets a, what is that, a 120% increase, so it goes to 390% for the attack damage. So it does do some damage, and obviously the goal is for her not to die, but in this case, if she does die, there is a potential chance that she can come back. And I'm not sure what they mean by the Demon Shadow. Are they simply saying that if her HP is, if the enemy that hits her HP is below a certain threshold, that she will automatically just be in this revival state? Is that what they mean? Could be. I mean, I've fought in carries in the PvE, or PvE in general, and she's always had this 3-turn stuff, so I'll have to double check on that. But if it works as it's describing itself, with a proper Saw team, there's a chance that Carrie could come back, which would spell trouble. And then for her ultimate skill, which is Mana Burst, it has a 5-turn cooldown, and it deals in between 500 and 700% attack damage to a single enemy. The higher the target's AP, the higher the damage dealt. And then it also reduces that target's AP by 50%. So the closer the target that gets hit by this move is to getting their turn next, the more damage they will receive. And on top of that, it kind of punishes them because if they don't die from this move, she's going to make sure that they can't act as soon as possible. And with books, we can see that this improves the minimum attack damage by 150%, and it improves the maximum attack damage by a whopping 210%. Now, this is a range, though, so you can't go outright and say this is super duper OP, but especially if it's on the higher end of that damage, it's going to be disgusting. And it also gets reduced down to 4 turns. Beautiful. But you do notice that with all of Carrie's skills, they're single target. So she is one of the better single target DPS in the game. I'm going to tell you that right now. And obviously, if you're playing with her on a manual setting, especially in PvP, she could be very problematic. I also see her being a decent carry, even though her name's Carrie, through a PvE situation. Probably up until Nightmare, where you have to have some strategy involved. She could be very useful if she's built up to maybe like Ascension 4 or even Ascension 3 in some cases, but it's just a matter of trial and error because I don't have a carry to say if she's going to be super good or not. But taking a look at her exclusive weapon though, obviously if it's maxed out, she gains the 30% boost in all of her stats, and at level 4 and 5 there's also a speed increase, once again bumping her up here. So at level 1, Mana Burst chooses one more enemy with the highest AP except for the target, and it somehow lowers their AP as well. So it doesn't lower their AP by 50%, but it lowers it by 25%. So that's interesting because that means if I do her ultimate, it does have some type of AoE effect on another target. I don't think it damages them, or it could actually damage them, but from what I'm reading here, it's just saying that it takes away their AP. So if she can apply potential damage to them too, that would be great. But even taking the AP away from the next target after the unit that you targeted with her ultimate is still great. At level 2, it now distills all of their AP, which is just hilarious. So can she act again or what? Either way though, if the target's not dead, they're not going to act. So that's always good news bears. And then for level 3, when Carrie is killed, the active skill of the killer are all on cooldown. So, okay, now we're smiley face gaming here because not only can her ultimate punish whoever that she's hitting and whoever's going to act right after the person that she's hitting with that ultimate, but if you decide to kill Carrie, congratulations, all of your skills are on cooldown, meaning kind of the only way or the smartest way to kind of counter Carrie is just going to be just pop your ult, because your ult is going to have to go on cooldown anyways. Just pop it because you can use your basic attack after that, and she's going to make sure that if she dies, she's going to take all your good skills with her. So pop it, but you know, once again, it's more of a punishing type deal here. So overall, I think Carrie is a very interesting unit too. I do love her design with this bizarre looking shadow creature. At first I thought she was just a doll, and then like this is actually Carrie, because that would be some just dope lore. But I think she's a great single target unit, one of the best ones in the game. I'm not going to say she is the best one because I'm still going through stuff here. And I mean, if you see her in PvP, just be wary of her. My only issue though is in a PvP situation, unless she's paired up correctly, the AI could be kind of bad with targeting. But yeah, just watch out for the ultimate, you guys. And I will, of course, leave the recommended gear sets for her below in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next one.